We often think of death as the end, the final shutdown. But what if it isn't? What if death is actually the ultimate activation? Today, we're diving into a perspective that completely reframes our biggest unknown, not as an ending, but as a transition into a state of absolute, undeniable clarity. So, let's explore this together.
Okay, so here's our roadmap. We're going to walk through this soul's journey in 5 stages. We'll start at the moment of death, then see what happens right after in the grave. After that, we'll look back at what this life is all about, then jump forward to the day of final judgment, and finally, we'll tackle the idea of eternal justice.
All right, let's get right into it. Section 1. Death is not the end. The central idea here is that death isn't a system shutting down. No way. It's the moment the system's true purpose is activated, and our entire perception of reality just flips.
And that brings us to this idea of the veil. Think of your life right now as having all these filters on it, the limits of your 5 senses, the constant distractions, your own ego. Well, at the moment of death, according to this view, that veil is just gone, instantly lifted.
And when that veil drops, wow, everything changes. Things that were abstract ideas suddenly become concrete encounters. Angels are no longer just concepts in a book. They are beings you actually meet. Your soul is addressed directly, with no social masks, no ego, no performance. It's just you. Pure, unfiltered truth. This verse from the Quran isn't understood as just poetry. It's seen as a literal statement of fact. It's describing this design transition from one mode of existence, the veiled one, to another that is piercingly, unbelievably clear. And it's this clarity that sets the stage for everything that comes next. Which brings us to Section 2, the grave. Now, this is not some dark, neutral waiting room. Think of it more as a preview environment, like getting an immediate, personal screening of your life's results.
This state is called the barzakh. And in this place, your awareness isn't dimmed. It's cranked up to the max. It's like the soul's immediate debriefing, where the highlight reel and the lowlight reel of your life get played back for you. The truth of your choices is shown, and there is absolutely no delay.
And this is where it gets incredibly vivid. Every single soul is immediately shown 2 doors. For the person who is sincere, who really tried, a door of joy opens. They see their reward, they feel this profound relief, and their soul literally says, "Start it now." They can't wait. But for the one who denied truth or was unjust, a door of regret opens. They see their consequence. They feel this immense, overwhelming dread, and they just plead, "Please, please don't start it." The contrast is just immediate and absolute.
Now, to really understand this judgment, we have to rewind a bit. Section 3 is all about the nature of the test itself. We're calling it Life, the Great Forgetting.
So according to Islamic tradition, before we were even here, every one of our souls made an oath, a covenant with our Creator. We accepted a huge responsibility. But for the test of life to be, a real test, a powerful sense of forgetfulness had to be placed on us. Because it's not much of a test if you already know all the answers, right? And this mechanism of forgetting is called the nafs. It's our ego, our lower self. Think of it as this thick blanket that gets thrown over our soul's natural clarity, the very same covering that gets ripped away at death. The nafs is what convinces us we have all the time in the world. It makes this temporary life feel so permanent, so real, and it basically numbs the soul with distractions until, our time is up. The entire point of life, then, is to try and see through this illusion.
And this quote just perfectly sums it all up. This world is a delusion, but it's a very serious one. The test isn't about getting comfortable, it's about being truthful, about remembering that oath we took despite all the noise.
Okay, so that brings us to Section 4, Judgment Day. Now, forget whatever images you have of chaos and confusion. This day is described as a day of astonishing truth, perfect balance, and ultimate clarity for every single soul that has ever lived.
And to really grasp the scale of this day, let me ask you this. Can one single moment of pure joy be so profound that it completely erases every memory of a lifetime of pain and suffering?
Well, according to a saying of the Prophet Muhammad, the most miserable person from this world who is destined for paradise gets dipped into it just once, one time. And when they're asked, "Hey, did you ever know hardship?" they will swear they never, ever did.
And let's be super clear here. This is not meant to be a metaphor. The teaching is that the experience is so overwhelming, so complete, that it literally rewrites your past. It removes the memory of all that pain. The suffering isn't just forgotten, it's reversed, as if it never even happened.
Now on the flip side, the this is also the day of absolute, total accountability. Every tyrant who thought they got away with it? Nope. Every liar, every abuser of power, nothing is forgotten. Every single hidden injustice is dragged out into the light to be answered for.
And this is why. For those who were patient, for those who suffered oppression, this day isn't scary at all. It's the ultimate relief. It's the day of restoration, of perfect balance. It is the final vindication, where truth finally wins and all the lies just crumble into dust.
And that leads us to our final, and let's be honest, maybe the most challenging section. The final choice is yours. How can an eternal consequence be just for a short, finite life? Let's unpack the logic here.
The Quran actually addresses this question head-on with this verse. It's saying that even if those who chose a path of denial were sent back to do it all over again, even with full knowledge of what's coming, they would still choose the exact same path.
So the logic is this. The judgment isn't about one mistake you made on a Tuesday. It's about the persistent direction, the fixed orientation of your soul. Think of it like a compass that's permanently stuck pointing north. No matter how many times you spin it, it's going to point north again. And because God's knowledge isn't limited by time, it's not a prediction of what you might do. It's a complete knowledge of your soul's unchanging will. So the eternal outcome simply matches who that soul insisted on being.
So from this point of view, the ending isn't dark. It's profoundly honest. It stops the cycle of pretending, and it fixes each soul in the reality it chose for itself. And that kind of honesty, that final clarity, is seen as a form of mercy.
It really all comes down to this powerful idea. Free will is everything. The door to a different path was never locked. But in the end, the soul itself, through its choices, through its intentions, chose its permanent home.
So, let's end with this thought. If this whole perspective holds true, if this life really is the interview for what comes next, what story is your life telling right now?